Let's go with the third book, Young Guns, because you mentioned something that stood out to me when I was doing a little bit of research. This idea, you have this principle of standing out. And you mentioned that inside of Young Guns, to help companies stand out more, to help those young people just getting in, not to lose that fire in 6 months. Tell us a little bit more about standing out.
Corporate is a sea of sameness. And to some extent, that is required. Otherwise, large corporate structures would not be able to exist. Are they required or not is a different discussion unto itself. But corporate is a sea of sameness.
Mhm.
And what happens over time when people enter into the corporate environment, like waves hitting a cliff shore, over time, gradually but surely, it reshapes you, typically into a version that you didn't dream of, you didn't desire. It shaped you into a conventional person who thinks like everyone else, dresses like everyone else, sounds like everyone else, thinks like everyone else. Corporate is a place that typically quells individuality. It doesn't actually promote it to express the individuality. So I got to that point in my career. I lost 95% of myself. When I was asked the question, tell me about yourself, it was a job title. I'm not my job title, and
Mm.
neither are you, neither is anyone else. That is simply a function that we perform to exchange energy. That is not the embodiment of who we are. I wasn't able to articulate my passion. I couldn't articulate my purpose. I could not tell you what my values were, who I stood for. I sounded like everyone else. I hated how I would speak. And if it wasn't for that 5% to recognize that I had lost 95% of myself, we wouldn't be here having this conversation. That is the problem. People are most powerful when they are in full expression of their individuality and who they uniquely are. But people can't do that because they don't know who they are, because not the education system, not workplaces encourage individuality or exploration of our inner self. Society places far more emphasis on our external identity. And for people who do seek to be in full expression of themselves, society is also like being a crab in a bucket. Everyone's trying to pull you down, cut you down. And for those who do not have courage and do not have the backbone to defy the status quo, they just go back into the bucket full of crabs and then do that to anyone else who tries to escape. So standing out is not just about, hey, look at me. Standing out is about being in expression, in full expression of your individuality. And that is how you stand out. That is the most powerful place to actually lead from.
Okay, so I understand that standing out is important. And even at my advanced age, I was working with my coach last night, and we're talking about the fact that it's difficult to stand out because, especially if you're in business, you need to get the approval of those around you. But then I started thinking about something. So here's my question to you. How do we do the internal work to stand out? If I'm going to coach a young gun at getting involved in business and saying, but don't give away your identity to stand out, how do you do that?
That's a great question. A long process, of course. But first, in order to get someone at that stage where they want to do that, when they want to protect and express their individuality, they need to first understand the problem. And this is why I talk about the problem, talk about the problem, talk about the problem, because you will not you, but someone will not be on heightened conscious awareness and say, I don't want to fit in. And this happens in micro moments. Some people come back
Mm,
and say, hey, Eleanor, can you give me some strategies to fit in with my team? No, I cannot give you strategies to fit in. People think that if they will be fitting in, if they should just get along more or be more like everyone else, they will actually stand out more. It's a paradox in their mind that they haven't reconciled. So, first, in order to coach someone on that, they need to know that this is a problem. In order to get them to that stage of protecting their individuality and also their ambition, you need to go down the path of enabling someone to discover who they are based on their internal given identity, not the external one, not where you were born, not your education, not your degrees, not what your parents have called you, to discover your passion, your purpose, your core values, your own vision. That is incredibly powerful. But then not just conceiving the vision, but translating that vision into reality, of also understanding the most powerful factors of our life and of our success. And that is our internal working, our conscious and our subconscious mind. And I'm saying these terms as if you can't sit down and figure this out for 5 minutes. This is an ongoing evolution and discovery of self. But someone can't walk down a path that they don't know exists. And that is a big part of the work that I do, is bringing this problem to people's conscious awareness. Otherwise, in 5 years' time, they're going to find themselves with a mediocre mind, completely unsatisfied, and they do not have any backbone or any ambition to pursue even the
Hmm.
slightest of them goals. So in order to start the journey, once someone has conscious awareness that, you know what, there is a problem here, you need to work with them to shift the mirror to get them to focus on their internal world first. And this is one of the toughest things to do.
Yeah,